what's happening here? That's a question we want answered in America today, because we're seeing a lot of craziness going on around here. And I believe God has given me a message on what is happening here. Hello, my name is Steve, and that message comes from a prophecy in the New Testament that's in the Bible. Now, prophecy, in simplest terms, means message from God. And the New Testament is how the Bible is essentially broken down. So when you look at the Bible, it's essentially in two parts. There's the New Testament, which covers roughly 100 years, not even that. But then there's the Old Testament. And as you can see, it's a little thicker, and it covers thousands of years. And the reason I bring this up is because we can learn a lot about prophecy from the Old Testament. So that's where I wish to start, and we go here. This is Moses, a patriarch of Israel, and it's roughly 3,600 years ago, and he is presenting these two stone tablets. Now, these tablets are very important. They were inscribed by God himself with his finger. He etched in the stone. And what was etched in the stone is this: the truth. So it's good information. The Israelites should read this, hear it, and learn it. But when you read the Old Testament, time and time again, the Israelites were seduced by falsehoods. And this is an illustration of what that might look like. First of all, they fabricate this golden bull, and then they believe this is a god, and they essentially worship it. And that's what they're doing here. They're dancing around it and the like. And then what comes next is they embrace all the false teachings that come along with this belief system. So there's a point of emphasis I wish to make here. There is the, notice the singular, the false belief. And then from the false belief arise multiple false teachings. Now, imprint this slide in your memory, please. There's the false belief and all of these false teachings that arise from it. So then what happens is the entire nation of Israel turns away from the truth and adopts all of these false teachings. So in response to all this craziness, God sends prophets. Prophets like Jeremiah, Isaiah, and Ezekiel. And as you can tell from these illustrations, things are not going very well in Israel at the time. Furthermore, these prophets and what they shared was not always very well received. I'm now going to share some text from the Bible regarding the experiences of these prophets when they talked to the Israelites. And we're going to start in Jeremiah 5:21. Now in this passage, Jeremiah is addressing the Israelites who have embraced a false belief and all the false teachings. Here's what Jeremiah says: "Listen, you foolish and senseless people, with eyes that don't see and ears that do not hear." So this passage is telling us that people, like, remember that illustration where they're dancing around the bull? You know, these people are foolish and senseless, but perhaps more importantly, they're unwilling to look at or listen to the truth. Now consider Isaiah in Isaiah 44:18, and he too is addressing the Israelites. "Such stupidity and ignorance, their eyes are closed and they cannot see. Their minds are shut and they cannot think." So this passage indicates that a mind that is fully indoctrinated with the false belief and all those false teachings is shut. It can no longer think. My last passage comes from Ezekiel, and in this passage we have God speaking. God is talking to Ezekiel, so please listen carefully to this one. Ezekiel 12, verse 2. Son of man, you live among rebels who have eyes that refuse to see. They have ears, but refuse to hear, for they are a rebellious people. And so God is telling Ezekiel, the entire nation, okay, consists of rebels. And this would be something like the government, all the institutions, all the cultural elites. They have all embraced the false belief, and they are a rebellious people. And this is a scary situation. So it's one thing to be foolish and stupid, all right? But rebellious is different. Rebellion is a people who wish to destroy the truth, right? So I hope everyone can see how these Old Testament prophecies apply not to just Israel, but to us today, because that's what we're seeing in our country. We have the truth, all right? But we have rebels, rebellious people who don't want to look at it, hear it, and their minds are shut to it. So with that, we're going to move on to the New Testament prophecy that applies to us in America today. And here that is. It's found in 2 Thessalonians 2, verses 9 and 10. And so let's go ahead and read through that. The coming of the lawless one will be in accordance with how Satan works. He will use all sorts of displays of power through signs and wonders that serve the lie, and in all the ways that wickedness deceives those who are perishing. They perish because they refuse to love the truth and so be saved. So, I'd like to break this down, and we're going to begin at the beginning. The very first two words are the coming. And that's why we know this is a prophecy, because God is warning us that a future event is coming. And what's coming is the lawless one, but perhaps more importantly, what's coming is the lie. And again, notice the wording. It's singular. The lie. So this must be a very powerful and deceptive lie. And the reason I say this is I'm going to share the next verse, verse 11 right here at the bottom. For this reason, God sends them a powerful delusion so that they will believe the lie. And so there it is. It's the lie, and it's called a powerful delusion. All right, so what does that mean? Here's my interpretation. Most people in America are going to be deluded, and they're going to believe the lie. But Christians in the Christian church are going to be deluded as well. You see, I believe the church is just not going to recognize the lie as the threat it is. They're going to be apathetic about it, uninterested in the lie. Ultimately, this passage tells us what America will become. They, meaning all of America, refuse to love the truth. Refuse to love the truth. They will believe the lie. So, the million-dollar question is, what is the lie? I guess think about that for a moment. Well, has it come yet? Maybe it's not here. Well, this passage does give us some hints about the lie. we know it's going to come in accordance with how Satan works. And we know how Satan works because we see it in the Old Testament. Satan deluded Israel with the false belief, right? Remember the fabricated golden cow. So Satan's going to delude America in the same way, right? The lie is the false belief. This is how Satan works. Now, do you recall what Satan's next step is? From the lie will come false teachings. Okay? And this is what we're seeing in America today. False teachings, craziness, everywhere you look. America is a rebellious people because the lie has come. So the lie is here today. But we go right back to the million-dollar question now. What is the lie? Well, I believe God has shared that answer with me. And I will discuss that in session number 2. I hope you can join.